Alright, I'm just gonna break down the tape there at the lower days and do a quick trade recap on the setup that I took today. So I'm gonna get into the pre-market plan, but first I want to show you guys where these levels originated from. So this 5312 right here to about these 06s, a bit lower was my key level for the day. So where this stems from, you could look right here, 5312. I've been mentioning this since May 21st and before. So you can see May 21st. This was basically, you can see here, a balance period. So this is that range we had at all-time highs, and you can see the lower portion of that. I'm referring to this part here, the volume. X out this is between the 12s and the 4/8. So to me, that was a very key level. And if you look at the 12s on any time frame, oops, this is a little bit messy. If you draw it out on like a candle chart, you'll see it's getting very respected very well. This is what it looked like in that range. We broke out of it, support, resistance. Pre-market, we were breaking above this 12 level. Another thing I want to show here from the 12s is, if you go back to today, I'll show you guys there's more context to it. So the 12s was from this 5-day balance range. We also had a poor high, so you could see this Monday high. This was June 3rd. There's 2 periods at the high, meaning it was poor, which usually gets revisited, and it's an important level. We were gapping up above it, and then we also had yesterday's high, which was an inside day. You can see this day was fully inside of the prior day's range. So you have the 12s from back here, and then the 13s as well. This is really could get complicated, but if you look at this day, I combined basically 3 days of action into one large profile, and you can see here that the value area low, or you could call it the balance low of that, was the 13s, and it acted as resistance here. The 12s acted as resistance here. We're gapping above it. So for me, that's an area where if we open above it, we want to see how we react there, because if the selling's heavy, we'd probably go sell off into lower levels here, and if we hold it, we'd probably move higher. So on top of all that I showed you about the 13-12 context, also want to show what the tape looked like. So what you're gonna see here is you're gonna see yesterday's order flow as the market was closing, and what you're gonna see, let me just make a better screenshot. If you look at the volume transacted at these 10 to 05s, it was a very strange volume pattern. So you can see here 5310, there's like 5,000 lots around hit the offer, and then 5305, which is exactly 5 points lower, it was the same size that hit the offer. This is very unusual activity, and then we move up off of that. So we got the 10s, we got the 12s, 13s. That was my key level for today. On a chart, it looks like that. Showed you what it looked like here, and then this is just a zoomed in visual of what, let me just find, yeah. So yeah, that was it. And then I'm gonna break down the actual entries and stuff. So pre-market plan scenario number, this is posted 9:05 by the way. If we can hold these 13 to like 06s, and then buyer step in, I want to look for ways to play long, and I also had a bearish plan, which did not trigger. So moving up, this is a very uncomfortable trade, but I'm gonna break it down here. So we had 10 a.m. news, so I didn't trade until 10 a.m. news. I just let the market develop. And what you're gonna see here, on 10 a.m. news, look, I said ISM data is dropping, and I meant to say like 40 seconds. You got to keep an eye out on those 13-12s. So, and then I updated it here at 10:01. I want to see a move down into these 13-12s where buyers defend to play long. So what I saw, you can see this is 10 a.m. a massive move down. You can see tons of aggressive selling into my area of interest with no follow through, and this large bid's getting filled. So I saw some buying here, and all I wanted to see a pullback into those 13s to this lower day where we put in a higher low. Off of that, there's buying here on the tape. The 13-12s, I had pre-market, all that analysis looked at 10s. That same low I showed you yesterday is where that large bid is. There's some clear buying here to play long. So that's where I took the first setup. We ended up pulling back into the 13s. You can see this box, and then tons of aggressive selling, tons of aggressive selling. Didn't move lower. I took a stab there, and that's what it looked like here. Right, I was waiting for pullback to 13s. $112 loss on this. I was risking 2.25 points, and you could see it was a really quick stop out. I just mistimed the move. Yeah, you could say my stop should have been under that low, but I think it was a good entry and a good stop, because if your stop's under that low, now you're risking way too much. That's about 7 points, 8 points on ES, and that's not my cup of tea. I don't like risking that many points on a trade like that. So I just took the loss, but my analysis was still correct, so I was open to re-entering, and this is where I re-entered. So I re-entered. I'll show you guys the tape again. But we ended up pulling right back into those 10s. Remember those 10s I showed you where that large bid got filled? All that activity. So, look. We dipped down into these 10s. And then this is a zoomed out visual where this bid got filled. And here you can see we dip into it. And look, as the market moves up, you see this weird 3-tick bid that what I call bleeps into the market. It stepped in out of nowhere for large size here, 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 and here. So I see this as strong buying at these 10s. I tried some long here. And another main part of this was there's a lot of relative strength across the board in the tech or NASDAQ. So you could see NASDAQ was failing to break under the low. And basically, what I want to emphasize on that is this. So let's do annotate. What I saw was, let me just pull up the whiteboard. So let's say this is ES, 5-minute chart. ES was breaking the low very aggressively. This is around where those 13 to the 10s are, right? And then NQ, same exact day. I'm bad at drawing, but just bear with me. NASDAQ was doing something like this. It never really broke much further than that low, and it was reclaiming back above. So there's a little relative strength here. Then I was watching Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. I was watching all these at the same time. And Tesla. Tesla. It was doing the same thing. Apple never broke the opening lows. Microsoft never broke below the opening lows. Amazon never broke below the opening lows. Tesla never did. So look at this. ES was the only one breaking down. Look, NASDAQ was still holding. All these were still holding. So that was unusual to me. And this, mind you, this is at the same time we were coming back into the 10s. And cherry on top of that, if that wasn't enough, SPX had very key area as well that we dipped into, this 5300. So whole numbers like this on SPX are usually really important, and there's a lot of algos attached to SPX since it's more fixed compared to ES. Like, it doesn't have those rollovers and stuff, so it's easier to program algos around SPX. So that's why you'll see a lot of weird activity at whole psych numbers, just like you saw here where we put in a high. It was the high day on this day here, and then we opened above it at the same time. This aligned perfectly with that 13-12 to like the 06 region where I saw that buying at the low. This is where I took the longs. Everything was aligning, and yeah, you could see that was when the 10s hold. I was in this trade. It was lacking follow through. I felt really uncomfortable in it because I wasn't used to risking that much because of news. Is very volatile, so I was risking like almost 4 points on ES. So honestly, it was more of a stressful trade to be in, but you could see as it starts to move in my favor, aggressive buying steps in. I was targeting the 20s, and then it was, the rest was history. Got a clean move up into 20s. I think I could have had a better target. I think I should have targeted the 2s. Obviously I left a lot of money on the table. I mean, I don't expect to catch this whole thing by any means, but I think I could have at least caught it into the 2s. I think it was a better target. But besides that, I like both these entries. Stop losses, everything was good. I think I could have done a better job holding this one though, but it's whatever. My job isn't really to catch the full move, but yeah, it was a really brief breakdown of the tens and stuff. Remember, main thing, look at this weird activity at the tens, and then I showed you guys what the tape looked like today at the tens, and all that context that was aligning at those 13, 12 to like 06, confirmed by the tape. So